Hello, my name is Jacob Marlin. I'm currently in Belize, Central America at BFREE. BFREE stands for Belize Foundation for Research and Environmental Education. And BFREE is it's a U.S. nonprofit 501c3, but we operate a biological field station in the Maya Mountains of southern Belize, which is where I'm standing right now. This is part 4 of the Fer-de-lance series. I've been asked by numerous people that have seen the first 2 or 3 parts to show a little bit more of the snake, talk a little bit more about it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I think one of the things that I've learned from working with this species for probably 40 years, and at least about 25 years here in Belize, is how misunderstood they are. And so that's what I want to talk about a little bit today. So many people have told me, so many Belizeans, so many visitors have said, oh, the fer-de-lance, it's the most feared, the most aggressive snake. They're very aggressive, and everyone has a story about how aggressive they are. And I think like any animal, if cornered or threatened or bothered, it will defend itself either by fleeing or by aggressively returning fire. And so fer-de-lance is no exception. However, I would say, and what I'm going to do just right now is take out a fer-de-lance I've caught recently, and I'm going to put it in this plexiglass tube so we can look at it really closely with a camera. And during the course of me handling the snake, I have a strong feeling it won't be aggressive. If anything, it'll probably try to get away. And I think that's my point. I don't know how many of these I've encountered or caught. I haven't not kept track. Last week I found about 3. I've been living here many, many years. I don't think I'm up to 1,000, but I'm probably well over 500 or 750. So I've encountered lots of these snakes, and I can tell you that very rarely are they aggressive. When they're, especially during the day, because during the day they're generally resting and they're much more active at night. They're basically a nocturnal species. But even at night, they tend to be, though quick and very agile, not necessarily aggressive. So we're just going to get right to it. I think I talked a lot about the species in the first parts 1, 2, and 3. So I think I've got 2 hooks here, 2 snake hooks, 1 plexiglass tube, and this yellow bucket, which has become a very famous bucket because it seems to always have a fer-de-lance in it. So if you come to BFREE, don't open the yellow bucket unless you have your parents' permission or mine. So I'm going to go ahead and take the snake out. I have 2 hooks because the snake's, he's not huge, but he's relatively large. I'm going to put the tube down here. So in just a minute, we'll put the snake in the tube. So I'm going to take him out. We'll see what it's a male or a female. I don't honestly remember. It's a pretty good sized fer-de-lance. You'll probably see pretty easily with a camera. I think it's a female, but we'll look at it. We'll look at her a little more closely. I'm going to put her down, and when Wayne here in just a minute, who's doing the filming, Wayne Hall, if he's available in a minute to get back around, we'll cut in a second, and then we'll continue on getting this snake in this tube. So bear with us. Okay, so I've taken the fer-de-lance out of the yellow bucket. It's right here. Hopefully the camera is showing him pretty well. And I'm just going to manipulate this. She's actually getting ready to shed. She's a little bit pale right now, but I'm going to try to manipulate her in this tube. Might take me a minute. Certainly not going to be in a rush, as this is we are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and so we don't want to have to go to the hospital. If you notice, so far the snake is not exactly attacking me. Right? It's relatively, just really wants to get away, which is really what these guys do. So anyone that tells you that fer-de-lances are these vicious, tire-biting, and you're driving down the highway and one comes out and bites the tire of your car, is wrong. They're just not that aggressive. Let's see what I can do. I want to have my back to the camera. It's taking me a little longer. Because he wants to go this way. Fine, you want to go this way, you can go this way. That's what we'll do. Back to the camera. Back to the camera. Okay. So we got him in the tube. So that's called tubing, and it's one of the safest ways to manipulate, or to I should say, it's one of the safest ways to restrain a snake like this, because the dangerous end, the head, is restrained, so he can't bite through this tube, of course, and I've got him right here. So it's a very safe way to restrain a snake like this, any venomous snake for that matter. And if you need to look at it very closely to count scales, or maybe if it's in a captive situation, you want to administer antibiotics or remove a tick, or even do surgery. If you put the snake down, you can have slots and holes and stuff cut in this tube, so you can put a needle in, or forceps, or you can even do like endoscopic surgery or whatever it is you're doing. So it's a very safe way to restrain a guy like this. This snake's about, I don't know, maybe 4.5 feet long. It's not a monster. I've seen him 7 feet long, twice this width at least, and another 3 feet or so added onto the length. This is a female. Tail starts here. It's relatively small, so it is a female. She's not pregnant. Just a nice, healthy Belizean forest fer-de-lance. Here at BFREE, you know, we've had we started this place in '95, so I guess 21 years we've been running this field station here. It's all jungle, surrounded by forest. You can go to our website at www.bfreebz.org, and you're welcome to come down and visit us. There's a lot going on here, more than fer-de-lance, but this is a species that is not uncommon here. In fact, I would say it's one of the most common terrestrial snakes. And yet, with all of the thousands of visitors and the tens and tens of thousands of hours of people walking in the forest all around here, we've only had one fer-de-lance bite, and it was a little baby that bit a woman on her pinky toe. And there's been a fair amount of close calls, but honestly, with the number of fer-de-lance that are here, and the number of, just the fact that we're always out in the forest walking around doing stuff day and night, the fact that there haven't been more bites, I think is an example that shows that if these guys were as aggressive as people think, there would be a lot more snake bites here. So I think even that statistic, and I can't give you the exact numbers, it'd be interesting to do, but trust me, that there's been a lot of field biologists, a lot of students, a lot of people walking around this forest for a very long time. So just the fact that there's been only one bite, I think, says, well, maybe these snakes are pretty misunderstood. Perfectly understandable that people fear them, like anything that could kill you. I mean, I fear someone coming at me with a gun, or someone driving a car at me, as much as I fear a fer-de-lance or anything else for that matter. So they are impressive snakes, and they're definitely, one needs to respect them, like any animal that can cause harm or even death. But I think what we're going to do now is get some close-up shots of the snake, and then I think in a minute I'll take out another one, because I got another one. We'll pull him out really quick, just so you can see. That one's a little bit smaller, but beautiful color. And then I'm going to let these guys go, probably off camera. So we can do some close-ups right now. Yeah, let's go back. Alright.
How about I put my nose right up to the end of the tube to coax her forward a little bit.
I don't know what kind of shot you'll get if she straighten her head out.
Let me see. To hold it steady there.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
aim it up at me here. Okay, all right. Cool. I'm trying to get focus here. So a little confused on the focus.
She can sense your heat, which is good. Because she might come out a little bit, but she won't get out. And now you're getting a good look of her head on. Tongue flicking because the cameraman is hotter. She's definitely sensing the cameraman. You're wondering what's going on. That camera's awful close, so the tongue flicking is her way of exploring the environment. Very curious why she can't move and why there's a person 8 inches away from her, or even 6 inches. She's restrained. Don't try this at home. We offer a lot of internships and education and research opportunities here at BFREE. So if you're interested in snakes, or, well, in fact, I mean, we do mammals, birds, and the whole environment is what we study here. We have a lot of field courses and a lot of masters, PhD, postdocs, people doing research on the watershed, on mammals and birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians, forests, agroforestry. We have a breeding facility here for critically endangered species called the hicatee, which I think is another one of our videos you may see one day. Yeah, so a lot of people think snakes are just one long tail, or they don't really understand them, which is understandable because, of course, they don't have legs, and so they kind of freak people out because of that. But snakes have all the basic same organs that most vertebrates have. They're positioned a little bit different because snakes are elongate, so a lot of the organs are, instead of side by side, they sort of, one is in front of the other, depending on the organs, but they do have pairs of organs. Their tail starts here. The whole body ends right here. This is called the anal plate, or ventral scale. I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but it's right. I'm out.
When the cameraman has his eye to the camera and hears shit.
Sorry about that.
Stops filming for a
hopefully
moment.
that was good. That'll make for an exciting episode. Anyway, the ventral scale is here. So this is where the tail begins. There's only one opening for the snake to defecate from, to both poop and pee, urates and fecal material, and then also it's where their sexual organs are located. So they only have one opening. It's a shared opening, and it's right starting right here. So this is where that's the snake's tail. Now, one way to tell the difference between male and female snakes, and there's exceptions, and different species sort of have some different characteristics, of course, but you could generalize and say that male snakes have broader, longer tails than female snakes, comparatively, because male snakes have two penises. They're called hemipenes, and they're located inside the base of the tail, here and here. And they're inverted, they're like socks that have been pulled inside out. And when the snake's ready to... This snake's ready to get out of this tube. When the snake's ready to breed, it will flip those, invert one of the hemipenes, and it pops out from here, and he breeds with a female. So this is the tail of the snake. Females don't have hemipenes, so generally their tails are more narrow. They start becoming narrow right after the anal plate, and are shorter tails. Males are broader and generally longer. This almost looks like a male to me. It's interesting. I think it's a female. You can also use probes that you insert to determine if it's a male or female. It's called sex probing. But we're not going to do that right now. So I think I've had the snake long enough. I'm going to put it down. And hopefully you all have gotten a good look at this fer-de-lance here in Belize, BFREE. And I think I'm just going to do that right now. Just going to gently let the snake come out of the tube. And once again, you'll notice he hasn't attacked me or the cameraman. He just wants to get away. Probably a little bit irritated, but really he's just ready to go back to whatever he was doing, which in this case was sitting in a cage. I'm going to let him go here shortly. I think what I'll do though, just so you can see another fer-de-lance, is I'm going to put him back in the bucket. I think I'll use 2 hooks for this snake. And I'll get another fer-de-lance out in just a minute and let you see that one. Be right back. Okay, I've returned that first fer-de-lance, and I have a slightly smaller one here. Might be a little bit more aggressive. You know, snakes, just like people, have individual personalities. They're all a little bit different. So this guy's got a little more spunk to him, but it's a little smaller, very pretty. Oh my goodness. It's just a little smaller. And first thing she tries to do is get away. Alright, now that time she tried to bite me because, well, bite the hook because she, you know, something kind of bothered her. So that's understandable. This guy's a little more spunky, a little faster. I just wanted to show you another one. This guy's about 3.5. Oh yeah. Good morning. So, some are a little more energetic than others. This one's pretty energetic. If I continue to harass her, she may stop, turn around, and try to bite me, which wouldn't be surprising, because I'm not letting her get away. Or him. But notice, she's just trying to get away. So, that's 2 snakes now. Proving my point. Oh, yep, now she's like, you know what? That's enough. Leave me alone. Well, you go right back in the bucket. So, restrained, contained, but there again, that snake was a lot more energetic, but was just trying to get away. So, I made my point, I guess. Obviously, you have to be careful of a snake like this if you're in a country like Belize. You know, they range from Mexico down to Panama. They pretty much cover all of Central America, and they're not uncommon because there's still, you know, a lot of sort of rural, underdeveloped, or less developed parts of the neotropics, Central America, and so a lot of people live closer to interact with the environment a lot more. A lot of farmers, a lot of people are out in their fields, and so it hasn't been paved over as much as, let's say, North America. But these guys are still out there, and obviously be cautious whenever you're working with a venomous snake of any kind, unless you're trained. Anyway, that ends part 4 of our fer-de-lance series. I don't know if there'll be a part 5. I'm not sure what I'd talk about. Talked about so much so far. But you have any questions, you can reach me by email at jmarlin, M-A-R-L-I-N, jmarlin at BFREE.org, the B-F-R-E-E, BZ.org. You're welcome to send me an email if you have any questions about fer-de-lance or comments. And if you're into natural history, or if you're a scientist or a researcher, or if you lead study abroad programs, we do all those things here at BFREE. Check out the website. And thanks for watching Fer-de-lance Part 4.